Okay, y'all, I just went and watched Weapons last night, and I must say that movie was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, is it better than Sinners? I feel like when it comes to Sinners, that both of these movies are both very important and they're very needed. Okay, both of these movies, what they have in common, both of these movies cover energy harvesting. Okay, both of these movies cover energy harvesting. They both talk about energy harvesting from a um, more vulnerable from the vulnerable, so to speak, because of the setting, the kind of like Jim Crow setting of Sinners. The of course the brown people are more vulnerable because they're not in control, and as well as in the movie Weapons, the lady is harvesting from the children, who is also a vulnerable uh class of people. Now, Weapons, I like Weapons because Weapons really talk about witchcraft and use how people can use witchcraft to control, to assume, and to consume other people. Okay, get into it. This lady, if it was a lady, what I believe too, a lot of people have this theory that the aunt would have been taken over by something. Oh, spoiler alert. But she had been taken over by something, or she was hosting something. Yes, but I've also seen people who are desperate, and to change their situation, they will go to any lengths. She was very ill. The aunt was very ill. Okay, and so because she was ill, she was doing anything to replenish her supply, her life supply, because whatever it was eating away at her, right? So like they were saying, she could have had a parasite or been a parasite herself, and the plant. Now, when it comes to that tree, that plant she had, I feel like something was buried in that. She had buried something in that. She made some type of covenant with that energy, and she had to feed it, so or feed herself, because as the thing thrived, she thrived, and as it got stronger, she got stronger. So that was something that I noticed too. It also talked about it touched on child abuse. It touched on child neglect. It touched on school shootings. It made you think about that. It also talked about it gave us insight into dream magic, which I thought was very good. I was happy to see that. Dream magic, the lady that was doing the so when somebody is actively doing witchcraft on you, if you are any type of spiritual, any type of have any type of inkling, they very well will show up in your dreams as a warning. Those were warning dreams, and even though to them it just looked like a nightmare dream because they didn't know who that woman was, but this was a person in their neighborhood, right? That spirit trying to tell them, hey, this is the person. This is the person you need to be looking at. And her popping up because she's basically using their energy. She's in their energy field, so that's why they're seeing her in their dreams, and she's doing that dream magic. So that was really good. I liked that they're showing it because that's a real thing. That's something that I have experienced, and I have seen, I have witnessed, and I've heard my clients and customers have witnessed and went through people manipulating the dream realm, and tapping into their energy that way. Okay, now I also like how they that anytime there's a witch active, she always makes sure she has a fall person, which was the teacher. Okay, the teacher was the fall person. The little boy was the accomplice. I think it's weird that no one noticed that all the names were gone of the children that were gone. That, as a teacher, I feel like that's something that she should have picked up on. That's something that I would have picked up on. Like, where's everybody's name tags go? You know, that was a clue that was overlooked. There were a lot of clues in that movie that were overlooked. There were a lot of instances where I felt like they weren't paying attention or they didn't care. That's the neglectful part of, it's not that they didn't really know, it's that they just were complacent. They were too preoccupied with what they were doing, or the fact that, oh, the police will take care of it, or whatever the case may be. So I highly recommend this movie. It was not too scary. It had a couple little gory scenes. It had a, but it wasn't like I can't sleep tonight scary, anything like that. It was very interesting, and and it was right up my alley. I love the mystery part of it. I love I love how they're showing different points of view. That's very important. And something else that I noticed that they kind of touched on was that when people are going through something, they weren't properly communicating, and that's something that she did not. The lady, the aunt, whatever her name is, they didn't want her. She didn't want them communicating. So that's why the first person she went after outside of the class was the principal, right? Because if any of the other parents or other people come to him, she already has him, under control or taken over. So, she made him into a weapon to use towards the teacher or whatever. So she was going to take the teacher out, but it didn't work. Okay. So it was really good. I love the elements. It was sad to me for the little boy, Alex. He went through a lot, having to deal with that, and the fact that he didn't have anybody that he could talk to, anybody that he could turn to. That was very like heart-wrenching to me, because I was like, dang, I understand. I understand that feeling. I understand where he's coming from. So, another thing that I was questioning and thought about was, are these people, because she had the parents in a in a zombie type of state, right? Are they using the restroom on themselves? Are they going to the bathroom to relieve themselves? Or are they just sitting there? And if they are, is that not creating an odor? So when these police and different people are coming to the house, are they not smelling? Even the children in the basement, are they going to the bathroom? That's something that I thought about. Like, so, that should have created some type of odor, fume, smell, that should have immediately been like, what's going on in here? So that's something that I also thought about that kind of was left out. I honestly believe that they left a lot of questions, especially concerning the aunt. I think that they're leaving that as a, they're trying to set up for a prequel. I think, if anything, I don't think there may be a part 2, because I'll get back to that. I think they're setting up for a prequel to tell the story of the aunt, where she came from and how everything started. Or they could also do a part 2 just showing, because where's the plant now? Who has control over it? Is the plant now part of Alex? Is it working for Alex? Okay. One more thing I want to touch on before this video is over is the fact that when the spell broke, that people were coming back to their senses, right? Well, the children had been 30 days plus, and some of them were still not talking after the spell got broken. This is something that also is indicative of spell work. Quiet, being quiet, not speaking, being traumatized about what has happened. This is a real thing that I see people go through, that I've experienced myself. And when you're able to speak and you're getting back into speech and speaking that vocal, that's an indicator that the spell is broken completely. So, and even once it's broken, it can take time to fully grasp and fully communicate what all has taken place. This movie was good, and I feel like it's deep, but you have to have the eyes to see it from those different angles and different scenarios. All right, I hope y'all enjoy it. Go see it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Love y'all. Ciao.